Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I am very excited as today for me, I'll be reviewing a new era of Five Nights at Freddy's figures. As most of you have known, for about, I think, almost the past 10 years, give or take 10 years, Funko has been the main toy company that has been making these Five Nights at Freddy's figures. However, recently they lost the license and Jazwares now has the license to make Five Nights at Freddy's figures. And here today we have their first wave of Five Nights at Freddy's figures being based off the toy animatronics, which we never really have gotten before in figure form. Funko has made figures of the toy animatronics, however, they weren't properly the actual toy animatronics. So it was more of the toy animatronics from special delivery and then fixed Mangle. So yeah, this is our first ever official toy animatronic action figures, and yeah, I'm excited with them. So let's get a closer look at the box. I'm gonna use Toy Bonnie here as an example. First of all, we got a render of Freddy at the top, Five Nights at Freddy's, 8 and up. And here are some of the play features of the figures: glowing eyes, and they have jump scare action features, and I think that's pretty interesting. However, I'm gonna need to see it in person to see if it's good or not. And then over here they have some of the cameras from the game being Cam 4A, and then obviously this is not any of the actual map layouts from any of the games, but I think it's pretty nice. Toy Bonnie action figure, power left 93%, and usage is 2. I think they definitely did a very good job at making the box art. I think it looks very nice. Yeah. And then at the back, we got another render of Freddy, Five Nights at Freddy's, Toy Bonnie, more camera, what the map layout would look like in the Fnaf games. Here's a closer look at the play feature, jump scare action, and then the rest of the wave. Get them before they get you, being Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, and Mangle. So yeah, so without further ado, let's actually get into these figures. I'm very excited to see all of these figures. So yeah, without further ado, let's get them out of their box. Okay, so here we have the toy animatronics out of the box, and holy crap, these figures are almost near perfect, almost near replicas of the actual Help Wanted in-game models. But yeah, let's go through the three main animatronics first. Mangle, I'll go through you later. But yeah, and also it's just crazy that it's been almost 10 years since Fnaf 2 has been released, and we're only getting figures of the toy animatronics now in their pure forms, not the Fnaf AR forms. But yeah, good job, Jazwares. I'm happy that you are actually making figures fans want. So yeah, but these figures, I would say, are about 85% accurate. They aren't, unfortunately, 100% accurate to their in-game counterparts. However, that's more on Toy Freddy and Mangle. But let's go through the details on these figures first. First, let's go through Bonnie. Toy Bonnie, I think, is 100% accurate to the in-game model. He even comes with his little tail, and I like that they put that detail in. The only issue I have with Toy Bonnie and the way it looks, the ears. I think it looks a bit stiff. I think what they should have done is make the ears bend down a bit, just slight, but yeah, they didn't do that. I hope they do that with future releases. However, from what they shown off at Comic-Con, the next Bonnie figure, the jump scare Bonnie figure, will have these types of stiff ears, and unfortunately the Endo series have these type of straight ears also. So yeah, Jazwares, I hope you change the way Bonnie's ears are more to like Funko, where they did actually make them bend down a bit. But other than that, he's almost perfect. However, a couple of QC errors on mine, where there's a black dot on the cheek. Unfortunately, I can't remove that, and just a small dash black line on the mouth area. So yeah, other than that, he's perfect. Now, Toy Chica. I can't really find any issues to say about Toy Chica. She comes with her orange feet, her pink panties. Sorry if that sounded sexual. And yeah, overall she looks, I would say, 100% accurate. And yeah, it looks very good. However, I have one glaring issue with this figure, which I'll get into later. It's not perfect. Okay, now before we get into articulation of these figures, we have the main guy himself, Toy Freddy. And I think Toy Freddy looks almost perfect. The only issue I have with this figure is his ginormous hands. Now please, in the comment section down below, tell me, is his hands actually this big in Help Wanted? I never remembered his hands being this big before. But other than that, he looks perfect. The way his eyes looks in-game accurate. And yeah, overall, he's perfect. Now let's get into articulation. Articulation on these guys, it's slightly better than the Funko figures. However, it's slightly worse than the Funko figures. Now let's get into it. The first two big issues I have with their articulation. There's no articulation on the head at all, other than the jaw, but that's related to the play feature, which I'll get into later. And there's no torso articulation at all. So the only articulation you can do with these guys are related to the arms and legs. However, the arm articulation and leg articulations are very good. First of all, you can move the arm up that much, down that much, and with the arm you can bend it about at a 45-degree angle, and same with going back. And the hand you can turn around 360 degrees, and it's on a hinge joint, so you can move out and inwards. So basically what you can do, if you pose it correctly, you can create the Fnaf Burger King meme. So yeah, that's a funny feature you can do with it. The arms, not bad. You can even rotate the arms 360 degrees and rotate the midsection of the arm 360 degrees also. Now the legs, they are pretty good also. It has a drop down where you can drop the leg down to imitate that he's longer. However, I think seeing Toy Freddy like this, standing like this, is a bit creepy, so I'll keep him like this in my collection. But yeah, the legs on a ball joint. However, they aren't the best on Toy Freddy. You can move it out that far and move it back that much. It's not bad. I mean, you don't expect the best movement out of these figures. They are Animatronics after all. And you can give him, he can do the splits mainly because you can drop down the ball, the joint. And then for the leg, you can bend it about a 45-degree angle also. And the feet are also on a hinge joint where you can put it about at a 45-degree angle. So yeah, articulation on these guys are okay. I think the articulation doesn't necessarily need to be perfect. The head articulation though, they should have added that. However, I understand why they didn't. Mainly it's because it's related to the play feature. So the main play gimmick of these figures, the world of Freddy or Fnaf or whatever these figures are called, jump scare figures, there's a huge button at the back. You press it and then you get a jump scare Rawr, rawr. Yeah, that's cringe, sorry. But I think that's a great feature. I think the idea is good. However, I would change a bit of it. First of all, when Freddy jump scares you, it doesn't look like a jump scare, it looks like he's about to hug you. If they are ever going to re-release these, I think they should do this as a feature where when it's jump scaring, the eyebrows should go up. Because in FNAF 2, FNAF Help Wanted, when they jump scare you, he doesn't look like this. His eyes are fully wide open. So yeah, that's the first thing I would change about Toy Freddy, and the main thing I'll change about Toy Freddy's jump scare feature. Same with Toy Bonnie. When jump scaring, I feel like the eyebrows should go up. However, with Chica, I would say this is a tougher case. Now, these are more of the budget figures, so they're cheap, so I wouldn't really see them doing this. However, in an ideal world, first of all, we would get a swap out beak, and when you jump scared, the eyes roll around to the black eyes that she has when it's nighttime. Because, yeah, this doesn't look like the Toy Chica we know and love. So, yeah, unfortunately. But other than the jump scare feature, I think the jump scare, it's a good idea. I do like the way and how it plays out. It is fun. It is very fun to play with these figures. So yeah, I think Jazwares, your first wave of these figures are almost perfect. However, I would make some changes to these figures, such as the eyebrows going back, and for Chica, change the eyes. So yeah, basically, in the future, I think if characters have different eyes when they're jump scaring, they should do a change eye feature, and the eyelids go back up. So yeah, that's what I would do to change the jump scare feature. Okay, these figures also have another play feature, which is they have a glow in the dark play feature where you can roughly see it. It's not that great on these figures. I'll show you later, mainly on Mangle. Speaking of Mangle, now let's get into Mangle. Okay, so here is Mangle, and wow. While it's not perfect, Jazwares, you really have shown that you guys have a very big passion in making these figures, because first of all, Mangle is a very complex design to make into a toy, where the whole feature of her being mangled, mess of parts all together, an amalgamation, it's just a very complex design. However, I think Jazwares did a really damn good job at making this figure. First of all, I like to point out that they made a cool play feature of this figure that the others don't have, that you can take apart some of the endo pieces and put her back together. It is a very fun feature, and I like that they remembered, hey, in the lore, in the FNAF lore, she was a project where kids would be able to take apart the animatronic, put her back together. So I'm glad that they actually made that a play feature instead of like Toy Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy, where you can't take them apart. But yeah, this figure looks incredible. However, it's not perfect. First issue. The glaring issue, Mangle has 3 legs. Unfortunately here, it has 2 legs, and they combined 2 of the legs together. So that is the first glaring issue in my head. Second issue, and last issue, don't worry, this figure is very close to being perfect. This arm here is too long. The one in FNAF Help Wanted was way shorter, and I think the one in FNAF 2 was way shorter too. But other than that, what else can I say I have an issue with? I don't know, the coloring feels a bit off in some places, like the shade of, I don't know, the shade of pink looks slightly wrong. Well, the shade of the endoskeleton is wrong. It's not light gray, it's more of a dark gray in the game. So yeah, but nice thing they kept the tail here. But yeah, this is how the jump scare feature works on this figure, where at the back of the head there's a button here. You press that and the jaw opens up, and I really like the way it looks here. I think out of all the jump scares, this is the best jump scare. And also, on the head, the tiny endo head here, there's a little joint here where you can make it jump scare also. So yeah, very cool that you can control both mouths. That's a very nice feature. Good job, Jazwares. Good gold star to you. Now, I'm not gonna get into the articulation for this, but the articulation is pretty self-explanatory, as all of the joints are on ball joints, so you can get into pretty crazy poses, basically, yeah. So, yeah, this figure, other than some of the issues like the arm, the length, the having 2 feet only, it's perfect. It is really perfect, and Jazwares, I am shocked at this, because my only experience with Jazwares was the Halo toy line and the Fortnite toy line. Both are good, but the Halo toy line is good. It really looks accurate to the games and everything, but the Fortnite toy line is really dog shit. I used to collect them. Half of the figures looked cheap as hell, like really cheap plastic. However, these figures, for the price of 10 USD, I'm not gonna say how much I spent because obviously it's not out. I bought it at scalper's price. Since I'm in Singapore, they haven't arrived in Singapore. I don't know if these figures are ever gonna come to Singapore, but for their retail price being 10 USD, these are really good looking figures. Yeah, so Jazwares, continue the great work. I can't wait for everything you're releasing. What you shown off at Comic-Con made me really excited, especially freaking playsets. Like, god damn, we have never gotten a good Five Nights at Freddy's playset. I'm not counting the McFarlane playsets, as those are Lego, really. And the Fnaf Funko Snaps sets are dog water. Those are horrid. I hate the Funko Snaps figures. But yeah, last play feature of these figures, I don't think it was necessary, but it is a pretty nice play feature, where basically you turn off the lights, and as you can see, the eyes glow in the dark. You can clearly see a blue light on there. So yeah, sorry for the flashbang. I really like that play feature. However, I don't know how to charge up the glow in the dark, because usually figures would need like some type of UV light. I don't know if it's UV light or sunlight, so please tell me in the comment section down below. But yeah, here is Mangle next to the other figures, and I would say they all scale pretty well. So yeah, my final thoughts on this wave of figures: good job, Jazwares, and continue the work. You are doing way better than Funko. And who knows, if this video does well, please tell me in the comment section down below if you want me to make an actual full comparison video between these Jazwares figures and the Funko figures, as I do have the respective Funko figures. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I need more subscribers. But if you didn't enjoy this video, please comment down in the comment section down below how it can improve upon my videos. But yeah, if you want to buy these figures officially go out on the streets on October. However, in some targets, people have found it early. However, if you're like me and you're overseas and you want to get your hands on these figures as soon as possible, unfortunately, our only hope is eBay. And so far, people on eBay have been pretty bad. They have been selling it at pretty scummy prices. However, I bought these figures at pretty decent prices. I will tell them, I will not tell how much I paid for them. But Freddy I paid the cheapest for. So yeah, have a nice day and see you next time. Goodbye, good evening, and good night. Bye bye.